go on the record on DC 166541. Council, make your appearances.
Yes. John Palter and Greg Eister on behalf of Convergence Aviation, Inc. and Convergence Aviation Limited. Also with me is Alan Robinson, authorized agent on behalf of those entities.
Scott Hayes on behalf of Enola Aviation LLC and Orville Yarger, and along with me is Madeline Hayes.
Okay, I understand you've reached an agreement. Let's go ahead and announce it on the record.
Thank you, Your Honor. I will proceed, and then Mr. Hayes will correct the record to ensure that I've stated it accurately. Your Honor, before Your Honor, we have previously, this court has previously entered a summary judgment in favor of Convergence Aviation and Convergence Aviation Limited, which vacated the previous default judgment that was entered in this case. That previous order will be affirmed in a final judgment, and that we plan to provide Your Honor with a final judgment that will evidence that final determination in connection with this case. That final judgment will award Convergence Aviation Inc. and Convergence Aviation Limited all of the engine parts, specifically the engine PT6-35A, serial number RR005, all engine accessories, the Hartzell propeller, the engine mount, the lower cowling, the air intake scoop, the nose gear, the nose actuator, any doors, underbody, etc., that are not attached to the hull at this time, and that Mr. Yarger individually and on behalf of Onala will confirm in the judgment that neither Onala nor Mr. Yarger are asserting any claims associated with the engine and its parts. Specifically, Your Honor, we believe that there is a propeller that is located in Bowling Green that will be released by Mr. Yarger. He has incurred some storage fees. Those storage fees will be paid by him. Convergence will pay the cost to retrieve that propeller, as well as any other parts which are located in Bowling Green in the hangar which he controls. In addition, he will release any Pratt & Whitney parts or other parts that are specifically located at Prime Turbine in Dallas, and as necessary will provide to Prime Turbine a release indicating that neither he nor Onala are claiming any interest in the parts or the engine currently held at Prime Turbine. He will also, as necessary, provide a release to Jet Prop LLC, which is located in Spokane, Washington, indicating that he does not have, nor does Onala have any interest in those parts. As required or requested by Pratt Whitney, to the extent that Mr. Yarger or Onala's consent or authorization is necessary to secure the yellow tags for the parts, he has agreed to provide that written consent of the parties. Your Honor, in addition, we understand that there were certain parts which include a nose landing actuator, which was previously in the possession of Image Air, and that there were parts and labor pursuant to an invoice or a work order dated December 6, 2011, work order 825, which contained some of these parts that were in the possession of Image Air. And that those parts, because Image Air was subject to a foreclosure, are no longer in Mr. Yarger's possession, and they may not be in Image Air's possession. Therefore, any claims that Mr. Yarger had or Onala had to pursue Image Air relating to those parts, specifically the landing actuator and the parts and labor set forth in work order 825, will be assigned to CAL and CAI. In addition, it is the parties' expressed intent that the claims asserted in this lawsuit will be dismissed with prejudice, with a representation that neither party will reinitiate litigation associated with the engine or any parts. The parties are, however, carving out of this order a pending lawsuit that Mr. Yarger filed in 2018 against Convergence, and Convergence filed a claim back against Mr. Yarger at that time in Florida. That case number is 18-CA1209, and the parties have agreed that this order does not alter the existing litigations between the parties in that lawsuit. The parties have agreed that they will both incur their respective costs and attorney's fees associated with this matter, and that the matter would be documented both by a mutual release, compromise settlement agreement, mutual release, as well as a final order articulating the matters that we've identified here today.
Okay, is that agreed to, Mr. Hayes?
Yes, let me add a couple other just cleaning items. As to the storage fees that may exist relating to prime turbine and the storage fees related to jet prop, then Mr. Yarger / Anala is not agreeing to pay those amounts.
Is that agreed to, Mr. Palter?
That's agreed.
Okay.
Anything else, Co-Counsel Hayes? Okay. Then with that, on behalf of Anola and Mr. Yarger, we agree to that.
Mr. Palter, could you have your client also signify his agreement if he so agrees?
Yes, Mr. Robinson, can you unmute yourself? Do you have any questions about the form or the substance of the settlement agreement that we are reaching today in open court?
I have one comment, and that is in respect to the yellow tags, the way you articulated that was at the request of Pratt & Whitney. It needs to be at the request of Pratt & Whitney and or Prime Turbine, since they are the holders of those parts.
Is that correct, Mr. Palter?
That is correct. And Mr. Hayes, is that consistent with your understanding?
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, do you agree, Mr. Robinson?
Yes, I do, sir.
All right, Mr. Hayes, if you could have your client signify his agreement if he so agrees.
Is he there? Yes, Mr. Yarger, can you signify your agreement to the terms as been set forth?
State your full name and your agreement if you so agree.
Orville, and I agree to this agreement.
And I think you cut out, you said Orville Yarger.
That's correct.
Okay. All right. Anything else we need to chat about today, guys? We're going to put this on do you want 30 or 60 days on the DWAP?
Why don't we keep it on 30, Your Honor? I'd like to get this wrapped up.
Mr. Hayes, is that agreeable?
Yes, I agree. Yes.
Rhonda, can you put this on a 30-day DWAP? And I'll tell the interns it was officially the oldest case on my docket. So we got it done finally.
On ours as well, Your Honor.
Yeah, I'm really glad we finally got this done. This has gone through a lot of twists and turns. So, all right. So, interns, if you guys could stay on, and counsel, you guys are excused. You guys be safe. I'm glad it all worked out.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Judge.
Thank you.
I'm trying to leave. Okay.
Okay, set it for me for the day, Judge, tomorrow?
Yeah, you don't come back until Friday.
Oh, to Friday. Oh, darn. Okay. Well, I guess I'll see you Friday.
Okay. I'll let you know if anything changes.
Okay, bye-bye.
And I was just going to introduce you to Maddie Hayes.